Well, hello there, friends and kin, and welcome to Sundee Service. Today I'm recording in the evening. Sun's set and the light is gradually fading from the sky. Seems appropriate to do an autumn Sunday service at dusk, a time which we correspond to the autumn being the dusk of the yearly cycle. And we're going to continue our reading of Anamkara. And in this the first paragraph, first couple of paragraphs of the of chapter 1 is where we're going to start this evening, and I think that's how we're going to do things going forward. We're just going to do things a couple of paragraphs at a time, regardless of how long it takes us to get through. And I feel certain I'll mix things up again, or mix things up from time to time, just to give us a little bit of variety. This is a very powerful book, and I've been in possession of it probably since I was in my early 20s, and it has always been there to provide me with comfort whenever I felt lost or a sense of unease. So I'm going to go through the first couple of paragraphs of chapter 1, The Mystery of Friendship, as I smoke on my Rocky Patel gold label. Sitting amongst the company of those I've come to consider dear friends. The family in this plot I've always felt a welcoming energy here, and I'm deeply grateful for it. So without further ado, and I may need to read some of this with the assistance of a lighter. It's getting dark out here. I share my cigar with the neighbor just to the right of me here. Light is generous. We'll see how long the lighter holds out and how much that rings true. Doesn't look like my lighter's going to be that generous with me. If you've ever had occasion to be out early in the morning before the dawn breaks, you will have noticed that the darkest time of night is immediately before the dawn. The darkness deepens and becomes more anonymous. If you had never been to the world and never known what a day was, you couldn't possibly imagine how the darkness breaks, how the mystery and color of a new day arrive. Light is incredibly generous, but also gentle. When you attend to the way the dawn comes, you learn how light can coax the dark. And I am having to read slow here because, again, it is so dark. Let me see if I can turn the light on here. That doesn't really help. Oh well, we'll get through this. The first fingers of light appear on the horizon, and ever so deftly and gradually, they pull the mantle of darkness away from the world. Quietly before you is the mystery of a new dawn, the new day. Emerson said, "No one suspects the days to be gods." It is one of the tragedies of modern culture that we have lost touch with the primal thresholds of nature. The urbanization of modern life has succeeded in exiling us from this fecund kinship with our Mother Earth. Fashioned from the earth, we are souls in clay form. We need to remain in rhythm with our inner clay voice and longing. Yet this voice is no longer audible in the modern world. We are not even aware of our loss. Consequently, the pain of our spiritual exile is more intense in being largely unintelligible. And I'm going to stop right there, because that was one of the lines that hooked me in this book. It's a very, very, very powerful thought that we have become divorced from the rhythms of nature. And that's part of what getting outside and doing this Sundee service has helped me with, because I've been doing this a lot longer than the time in which I've filmed it and shared these moments with you. This is something I've done for years. And although the locations have changed and certain subtleties of the practice have changed, but it's one of those things that gets me out in the natural world in a state of deeper attunement with the environment around me. And as the months go by, I know how the leaves change and when the acorns drop and when certain plants bloom and then when some wither and shrivel up and are reconsumed by the earth. When you force yourself to interact with it, it reminds you of that rhythm of which we're all a part, which we mirror in the unfolding of our own lives. And I think it serves everyone very well to try to have an exercise and a practice like that, to sort of tune out the overstimulation of the modern world, because it's exactly what it is. It's overstimulating. That what John O'Donohue is talking about in being divorced from those experiences with nature, experiencing her thresholds and how one state changes to another. We're so inundated now with data from every direction, from the phones we're constantly plugged into. Even now at the gas pump, you have ads that play as you're pumping gas. So it's like you're in a deluge of information from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. And being inundated with so much raw data like that, it numbs you to the experience of connecting with the tangible world, with the ever-moving, ever-flowing, constant turning wheel of nature. And even though I choose to do it among the memorials erected to the memory of those who've passed, anything we do that reconnects us with the soil and with the flow of the seasons, I think helps reunite us with that force, with those, and experience those thresholds. And it's one of the most important things spiritually, I believe, we can do. And so in the comments, I'd like to ask you to share, what do you do to reconnect with the flow, the natural flow, the turning of the wheel, to experience it, to internalize it? Do you go for walks in parks or wilderness areas? Is there specific place you like to visit and just take note of how it changes throughout the year, or even the way it changes through the course of the day as light hits it from different directions, and then what it looks like beneath the pale moonlight. And I love reconnecting with nature during this time of year. Autumn is such a time of vibrant change. In fact, one of my favorite lines comes from a Typo Negative song, The Green Man. There's a line of autumn in her flaming dress of orange, brown, gold, fallen leaves. Now, I don't know why that line, I think that's the way it goes. If I'm incorrect, please feel free to correct me in the comments. Misunderstanding lyrics has is rather common to me. But there's just such a rich vibrance to everything, as though the plant life gives a sigh of relief before it recedes into its into this comfort of coolness and rest, slipping into a slumber soon to be covered with the blanket of winter. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world to me. And with those thoughts, I'll leave you, friends and kin. Please share with me what you do to reconnect with experiencing the thresholds of nature. Until we meet again, good journey.